there is a need to rethink business. Again, 10, 15 years ago, we were rethinking business in terms of standard business to social business. Nowadays, social business is nothing absolutely surprising to anybody, but I think we can go way deeper. We can go way deeper into sustainability and into circularity because there is plenty of resources out there. We just need to facilitate them. I think technology is going to play a major role.
Hello and welcome to Let's Talk About Tech. Today it's my great pleasure to introduce you to Georgi lossmann-iliev, one of the most respected social business entrepreneurs and managers that I have met in my life. Great to have you, Georgi.
Thank you for having me here, Bert. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great to have you. As always in our show, we always ask about the story behind our interview guests. So we know what you're doing today, and we will learn about that in very short time. But give us a brief introduction about yourself and how you landed in your business that you love so much today.
Well, the story starts actually back in the days in Bulgaria. I was born in Bulgaria, and when I was 15, we moved to Vienna, to Austria. So that was the first introduction to international business, to say so. We arrived here, and I started learning German as a second language. A few years later, exactly 4 years later, after graduating at high school, I started studying international business at the Vienna University of Economics. I think you know the university.
Both
well.
Alumni.
And this was the time when I started looking around. I started investment banking, corporate finance, and business informatics. And this is quite straightforward discipline, to say so. But at the end of my studies, I was more and more interested in different types of new businesses. And actually, the last 2 semesters, I was talking about social business, sustainability. But, in the year 2012 something, this was not as precise as it is today. And I used to work for Caritas, for a charity organization. And I said, once I've started to the end, once I've finished my studies, when I've graduated, I'll do something as a combination of social, sustainability, and business. All of a sudden, Magdas was founded. Mm-hmm. I heard about that, and I tried to get a job there, and I was lucky to be able to get the job. And we started in June 2012 with a very, very small bureau. We had an office of, I think, 5 desks, maybe. The first day, there was 3 of us, basically, or actually 4 of us with our assistant. And the first day, we had a check. Does the internet work? Is the network online? Do we have enough pencils? Do we have enough seats? Is everything working? And startup in a very traditional way. We ordered pizza, opened up a beer, and thought about the future.
And so this was the kickstart of a social business owned by Caritas that needs to actually run as a sustainable business itself. So it's not a charity business. You're actually having a business model that is self-sustainable, right? This is at the core of Magdas. Tell us a little bit about 12 years fast forward today. Mm-hmm. How many people do you have today, and how many businesses are you running?
Mm-hmm. Well, fast forward 12 years later, we have 260 people working with us. We have 4 core businesses, which is a hotel, a large-scale kitchen. We have a cleaning company, and we have also a recycling reuse company for mobile phones, which is a campaign that's going to turn 20 this year, the well-known E3 Wundertüte. We are the facilitator of that campaign.
Mhm.
And I can go into detail in all of the businesses because social, as you mentioned, social business means exactly that. On the one hand side, you are absolutely self-sustainable.
Right.
You have to target the black zero. This is
Mhm.
what you have to do because if you have any losses, there is no compensation in the back. There is no external funding. You have to be self-sustainable. On the other hand side, and this is social business, according to the ideas of Muhammad Yunus, social business is at least partially targeting a social problem, a social challenge. And the problem we would like to tackle is employment.
Mhm.
So, employment and education for people with low job chances, on the
Mhm.
one hand side, on the other hand side, of course, being self-sustainable.
Give us a picture. So, from these 260 people that work within these different business units that you
Mhm.
have, what is their background, and how did you influence their own careers and get them included in your social business?
Well, our first target was to have at least 50% of the employees uh, from our target group. Our target group are people with low job chances.
Mhm.
I'm really happy to say that nowadays we have more than 60% of our employees from the target group. The target group is quite defined because you need criteria to
Mhm.
identify who are the persons of your target group. So to the target group belong people that have been long-term unemployed, people that have been in prison, people that have a refugee status, people that have disabilities, people that are lacking command of German language, and so on and so on. And usually you have not only one, but more than one criteria
Mhm.
that that causes a challenge to get a job with our company. So what we do is provide a chance to people that would like to work, that are motivated to work, but that people that might not keep the job with our companies or even get the job with our companies. How do we do that? Well, first of all, we are really looking at the persons at the people
Mhm.
working with us. So we are not regarding them as numbers, but we know most of the people by heart. So I'm in charge of magdas recycling and magdas cleaning services. Magdas recycling, we have 10 people. I know every one of them really, really good, really
Mhm.
well. And in the cleaning services, I'm definitely able to identify, I would say, 110 at least out of 160 people.
Mhm.
So it's a very personal relationship that we keep with our employees. We are employing 2 social workers that
Mhm.
are a resource both for employment and for our staff and for the management. And we try to educate people. So in our hotel, we have apprentice. I think this is the most comparable English word to leerlinge,
Mhm.
where people are educated
Mhm.
and then are free to stay with us or to go to the market. So in most, or not in most, but in a lot of premium Viennese hotels, uh, there are people working there that have started their career with us.
Mhm.
And all of the business fields have a special focus. So in our hotel, we train people with a refugee background. In our recycling, most of the stuff is with multiple challenges take with them. In our kitchen and in the cleaning services, it's a combination of all.
Mhm. Interesting. So you basically train people on the job, but you also train them off the job when it comes to language skills and these matters, right? Um, as a social business, some people could have the impression that you're also paying rather low wages, but that's not the goal. You're paying quite fair wages, right? And try to make people also grow a self-sustainable family and even grow out of your company. So what you said, right? That people work in hotels, not in your social business hotel anymore. They have evolved and have went on further in their careers.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
that's a target of yours.
Yes, of course.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. We would like that people are able to improve their life, and let's let them decide how to improve their life. You know, somebody's really happy to have that certain job. Other people have different targets. They have different goals in life, and we try to support them to reach their goals by providing a job, by providing qualification, and by supporting them with different types of measures.
Let's jump into one of your projects that I know is very, very close to your heart. This Ö3 Wundertüte, the Wonder Bag in English, the birthday child. Now, 20 years, can you imagine? 20 years this has been done. And this is basically recycling of mobile phones, right? So the way it works, as far as I've understood it, is you have a partnership with a very large radio station that is across all the country, right? You have this call of send us your old mobile phones, right? They send in the mobile phones, and you can then refurbish them or recycle them. What do you do with those phones?
Well, exactly in between. The campaign was the idea of Ö3, of that major radio station in Austria. We are the facilitators, so we are taking care of converting the donation. It's it's a mobile phone donation that we convert into a money donation, into a financial donation for people in needs in Austria.
Okay.
So this is the Ö3 Wundertüte is a social business in a multiple way. So on the one hand side, we employ people. 100% of the staff are people with low job chances. On the other hand side, it's a sustainable project. I'll come back to in a second. And the third dimension, the third pillar of that project is the donation for people in need. So it's not only self-sustainable, but the project creates a donation. Regarding the recycling is actually the second step of it, because in a sustainable way, what you would like to do, or what we would like to do, and it's my personal passion as well, is to keep goods as long as possible alive. So the first step is to decide, is there any chance for that particular device to be reused? So what we do is pre-test them and then sell those devices that can be reused to large companies that refurbish them and sell them as refurbed products. If the devices are too old or too broken to be refurbished, only then they are recycled, which means the precious metals inside and all of the chemical components can be extracted. The recycling of our mobile phones takes place in Europe, definitely in Europe, within the European Union, either in Belgium or in Germany. We cooperate with certified companies, and we can guarantee that there is a sustainable way to deal with it. But before we got to recycling, we try to keep them alive. And 2 out of 3 are kept alive.
That's wonderful. Give us a number. How many phones do you collect per year?
Roughly 400,000.
Wow, 400,000 in a country that only has around 8 million people living here. Huh? That's quite impressive. I have learned about this project of yours. I mean, I obviously knew it from the media, right? But I learned a little bit deeper about it when you spoke at World Venture Forum just 2 years ago. And what I recognized is that a lot of people from other countries were interested to pick this up and to actually bring this project to their countries. Is this something that you have been seeing the last 12 years where you are in charge of this project?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Once people hear about it, I've spoken to numerous people. exactly about that project. And a lot of countries have tried to implement that project. Some of them have succeeded.
Where does it work? In which countries?
Definitely in Luxembourg.
Mm-hmm.
It works there. We had a cooperation with Caritas Luxembourg, and we were able to scale that project to Luxembourg. In other countries, not yet. I'm still wondering why, because it's actually a simple idea to start and do that.
You basically need what? You need a media company, right? That has the reach, right?
Exactly.
To get the audience.
Yeah.
You need the postal service to support
Correct.
you, right?
Yes.
Because that's a big chunk of the cost.
Yeah.
And then you need a little team internally to test the projects, right? You need a refurbishment company, right? That resells the phones.
Correct.
And then you need a recycling partner, right? That's it. So 5 components.
More or less, yeah.
Okay. So if you're motivated, call some friends. I think this is a great project. And I'm sure you will give advice, right? If somebody is interested and wants to copy the business model, because in the end, it's for the good of the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? This is great. I love it. Now you talked about a little bit about the businesses that you have currently, right? And how you have grown this business from 5 people to 260, which is an impressive journey for 12 years, right? When you look a little bit into the future, the new businesses that you have in mind and the new developments that you see, what drives you?
Well, what drives me is, as we have seen in the past decade, I think there is a need to rethink business again. 10, 15 years ago, we were rethinking business in terms of standard business to social business. Nowadays, social business is nothing absolutely surprising to anybody, but I think we can go way deeper. We can go way deeper into sustainability and into circularity because there is plenty of resources out there. We just need to facilitate them, and I think technology is going to play a major role. We have some circles, and there are waves of technology approaching. AI is a common thing. 3 years ago, it was kind of a nerd talk if you talked about ChatGPT. Nowadays, everybody uses that. I think this is the very beginning of a new technology era. And what drives me is, on the one hand side, sustainability, and I think also we have to take care of increasing qualification. I think jobs will change in the future, and I think precise qualification that we might not see yet into that detail is going to play a crucial role.
So it's education and awareness, circularity, sustainability, right? How do you get the merge between technology and this and circularity and sustainability? I mean, that's it's quite tricky, right? I mean, tech is always quite energy heavy on consumption, right? So that's hard, right? On the one hand. On the other hand, maybe it's more seamless, easier accessibility, right? Less borders for people to work online, stuff like that. Also, maybe with disabilities. What kind of topics are you thinking about? What could be an inspirational trigger for our audience?
Well, I think the inspirational trigger is in terms of circularity. I think you have to think circularity holistic. So circularity doesn't mean let's keep the resources in play. Yes, of course, it means that in a very technical, in a very narrow way. But circularity and sustainability in terms of social sustainability means that this is what we believe, and what I personally also think is that we have to think of ways how to provide people that would like to work with the job that can be done in dignity, that is sustainable, and that makes sense to society and to the people. So the resources are out there. I do not only mean resources in a technical way. I think of the people out there.
Human resources.
Human resources, absolutely. And I think there is plenty of resources that have to be looked at in order to identify them. And in order to do that, we have to have a look at the person itself. I can give you an example of a hidden resource. One of our colleagues in the kitchen, she's working with us in the kitchen as a cook. And one day, while we were rebuilding the hotel, we had to put some stuff from the hotel to our office, and we had the piano. And I'm very passionate about that, but I'm not a piano player. I just look around and do some climpering around, and all of a sudden that colleague sits next to me and says, "Wow, nice," and plays a bit. I was quite surprised because it sounded really, really nice. I asked her, "Wow, how come that you play piano so well?" She looked at me and said, "Well, back in my country, I used to be a piano teacher." So if you don't talk to the people, you might not find hidden resources.
Right. Hidden skills.
Hidden skills,
right? Yeah. So circularity is a topic that is also important to us. We have this European project about, it's called Invest CEC, where we're raising a circular economy fund, a venture fund, early stage, where we collaborate together with city utilities. Stadtwerke Klagenfurt is the initial partner, so the pilot city of the European Union on this project. And in this field, what I have learned is circularity always needs an involvement of bigger organizations, right? Like a city utility or like large media companies, right? And it needs facilitators in between, just like you do with magdas, right? And this is really great. I hope you will support us as a mentor also with Invest CEC once we have the fund going and some startups and ideas that we will discuss here. One last point, which I think is also quite interesting. You're not only working hyper local here in Austria, right? You're traveling quite a bit, right? You have your international business collaborations. How does that work? And how do you influence also other countries, right? You gave this example about Luxembourg, but I know you're traveling to Asia quite a bit. Give us a little bit of an insight into that direction.
Well, actually, influencing the world means to me one thing. If somebody asks you a question, and you're able to answer it, talk to the people and give them that input that they're interested to. What I've learned is that the world is huge and small at the same time. Whatever you talk, we've met in different countries. People are almost the same and ask you at the end of the day the same questions. And this is what makes it easier to spread the word, actually. So there is not a major strategy of internalization with our company because we are quite focused on the local market. But what we've recognized is that the world is so connected. We can cooperate with anybody that is interested in doing so.
So it's about knowledge sharing. It's
Correct.
About sharing and caring, learning from others and
Correct.
giving to them.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Georgi, as always, it is a pleasure to have you in such talks. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. It was great having you. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Tune in for the next episode. I'm sure it will be very hard to beat this one.
Thank you, Roger.